The judge calls out the mother for rolling her eyes, signaling frustration right from the start. This isn't just routine, it's already emotional. As introductions roll in, it becomes clear this is a complex family case involving multiple parents, children, and ongoing supervision.
Ms. Heiss, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. I visited with the children face to face, and in this reporting period, we were all pretty worried about Mr. Duby. And now that we see that he's okay, he was missing in action, and it was pretty stressful for everybody. But now we have him back. I visited these children face to face in their home. I had visited them at daycare prior. A lot of progress, although I don't know where they started from. I've worked with Mr. Patterson in the past and never really had the opportunity to see inside their family home. They're very cooperative. They're very, I see a nice household. I see kids that are bonded. I see Mr. Patterson doing parenting. You know, I don't always see that because mom looks like she does an awful lot around there. You know, all these teeny tiny little kids, and they eat at a little table set up so they don't fall and all that kind of stuff. I see a very child-focused home. The dog even behaves very well. But anyway, all their needs are being met, and these children are out of the home at daycare and at school. So there are extra eyes on these kids and extra people for evaluations and for their safety. Mr. Duby's issues make me think that we're not completely settled, but other than that, the family seems to be cooperating and progressing in services, and I really can't say what could be done differently or better. So at this time, I think I will conclude with those comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Thomas.
Thank you. I'll call Mr. Duby.
Mr. Duby, please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Good morning, Mr. Duby. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I just want to ask a couple questions about the court report, okay? Did you have an opportunity to review the court report?
I read most of the big packet that I was given by Chelsea.
Okay. And generally it says that during this review period, you have not been very compliant with your case service plan. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, the last thing, I relapsed. The last thing I did is I went to go get the counseling services, and right before I could get that set up, I ended up back out in the streets. So.
Okay.
You ended up what?
Back out in the streets.
Back out in the streets? Is that what you said?
Yep. That's what I said.
It's breaking up a little bit from your microphone over there, so I apologize. I want to make sure I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
The court report. Okay. So briefly, the court report indicates that you are to serve 60 days in jail with, I believe that your start date's on 9/20, and then after that you'll do a 3-month day program at dog farms for substance abuse. Is that accurate to the best of your knowledge and understanding?
3 months, yeah, 60 days from, I thought it was the 23rd, but the 20th would be better. And then 3 months at dog farms.
Okay. Well, one or the other. So 60 days from whatever your date of incarceration is considered or time served, and then dog farms. And is that something that you are committed to completing, that program at dog farms at this time?
Yeah, I am. I already filled out the both packets that Emily sent me. So that way I can get in right away. I don't have to wait.
You understand that some of the referrals that were made for you, like your psychological evaluation, that will have to be redone. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Is that a yes? Just we're making recordings, we just have to have you verbalized.
Yes, yeah, I understand that.
Okay. 'Cause, 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 Is there, I know that you're kind of in a tough situation being incarcerated, but is there anything that the department might be able to do while you're incarcerated to assist in compliance with your case service plan?
I'm not sure. I've been signing up for AA and stuff. Chelsea asked me to do that, so other than that, I don't see what you guys could do on the outside for me.
Okay. I will recognize that in your bonding assessment, it seems that there were no real concerns about your parenting, but more of the concern is your other choices and how it impacts your ability to parent. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, I have no further questions, but other attorneys may, okay?
Okay, Ms. Stang, any questions?
Yes, just briefly. Mr. Duby, you testified that you signed up for AA. Did you also sign up for NA services as well?
No, I've only received a paper for AA. No.
Okay. Do you know when those classes will begin that you're going to attend?
They host them every Friday, but it's not my choice if I go or not. The sergeant picks out who goes.
Okay, so have you been able to attend yet at all then?
No, I told him it was important and that I was requested by Chelsea to go, and I haven't heard anything, but I've been still signing up just in case he picks me one day.
Okay. Have you received any papers or anything yet regarding parenting education?
No.
Okay, if you receive those from the department, do you intend to read them and learn as much from them as possible?
Yeah, if I get them, I'll read them.
Okay, I have nothing further. Thank you.
Any questions, Mr. McFarland?
No, thank you.
Okay, what about you, Ms. Dumont?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. Heiss?
No, thank you.
We're good, thank you for your testimony. Ms. Thomas, your next witness.
I'll call Ms. Stubble.
Ms. Devil, come on up for a witness stand.
The guardian continues, painting a picture of a structured household, kids bonded, routines in place, even outside supervision through school and daycare. Everything sounds right on paper. But then comes the shift. There's concern about one parent's instability, and suddenly the case feels less secure.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
There's a step here, be careful.
Morning, Ms. Stubble. So just some of the similar questions I asked Mr. Duby, were you able to review the court report for today?
I read almost all of it, yes.
Okay, and generally speaking, it states that you're pretty compliant with your case service plan. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Was there anything in the court report that you did not agree with?
I mean, some of the stuff that was on the psychological, but I just want to get this over with.
Okay. Your psychological, I know that you don't necessarily agree with it, but the report indicates that it has been provided to your therapist, Mr. Quinlan, or a therapist?
Chris?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that you guys are working through that, is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. I want to thank you for taking the kids to their appointments for the CTAC.
Yes.
It's a hard thing to get into and it helps the court know what's going on. Okay, so thank you for that. As Ms. I said, it seems like you're doing a lot, especially for your kiddos. Is there any area that you still feel like you need assistance with?
Not really. I'm just kind of getting used to like, before I've always had Jeff at the house to help me with the kids. So it's been a little bit different. I've just been getting used to, but I found they actually listen to me better without Jeff being there. So it's just kind of getting used to the new schedule, I guess.
One of the things that's noted in here is the continued contact with Mr. Duby. Is there anything that you can help us understand about that? It seems that it's part of his probation that he's not supposed to contact you. But do you guys have contact still? I know that he's incarcerated now, but prior to that?
Yes, I have had contact with him.
Can you help us understand like the why? Is it related
Like,
to the
why do I
children?
talk to him?
Yeah, is it related to the children or is it, or your,
I mean, we talk about the children. I told him that his son had school pictures. I mean, we don't talk about just like one thing.
sure. As relates to the children's trauma assessments, were you able to review those recommendations?
Recommendations. No. Apparently not.
That's okay. There's a big court report, and there are several pages in each of the trauma assessments. But in that trauma assessment, there are also several handouts and resources. Did you review any of those?
No.
With that, I have no further questions.
Questions, Ms. Stang?
No, thank you.
Mr. McFarland?
No, thank you.
Ms. Dumont?
Ms. Double, once you're able to review those trauma assessments of the children and there's a recommendation, are you willing to look at that recommendation and see if that's something you would like to implement in your children's lives, such as counseling or?
Well, we already have the in-home therapist that comes. Like, I don't know exactly what their recommendations were, but I pretty much follow everything that's in my case service plan. I do everything that I'm supposed to do. So I don't know what she could possibly recommend.
Okay. Okay.
Ms. Heiss?
We had a family team meeting where we talked about these trauma assessments for the kids. And then at the end of the trauma assessments, there's a list of things that each child would need in a perfect world. So those are the recommendations that we're talking about. Are you willing to take another look at those and read them again?
Yeah.
And then after that, there's some books and some articles that are listed so that you're familiar with those things. Do you understand? In a perfect world, you would read all that stuff and know it all. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to be sure that we're clear. You have what you need to look at those things. I think it's your plan to keep the kids enrolled in school and in daycare where other people are giving them therapies that they need.
Yeah.
So like ISD will pick up at some point because some of the boys don't speak very clearly.
Yeah.
I think the boy that's name begins with a B and the boy that begins with an M. Well, we're on video, so.
Oh.
So
Okay, sorry.
B and M don't seem to speak very clearly, or is it me?
The last time he got tested, they said that he tested out of all services, that he didn't need any services. I'm thinking maybe since he's gotten a little bit older, it might like be borderline maybe. I mean, I'm not saying that he's way off of where he should be. He's definitely not. But Malachi, yes, we've been struggling with that for a while. I don't necessarily think it's because he's autistic. I definitely don't think he's autistic. I just think that kids have been through a lot.
Yeah. And when you say Jeff isn't there, he's working now, right?
Yeah. Well, he was working before. He just changed jobs to a better paying job.
The father takes the stand, and everything changes. He admits to relapsing and ending up back on the streets. That single moment resets the entire tone of the case. The court walks through his situation, jail time, rehab plans, and missed compliance.
One that he likes better, apparently.
And then you work during the day too.
Yes.
Okay.
I work all the time.
Okay. And then I don't think I have anything else. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Thomas, any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Any recross from any of our attorneys?
No questions.
All right, thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Your next witness, Ms. Thomas.
Jeffrey Patterson briefly, Your Honor.
Mr. Patterson.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Just that.
Morning, Mr. Patterson.
Morning.
Did you have the opportunity to review the court report that Ms. Grant prepared for today's hearing?
I skimmed over it.
And based on what you skimmed, do you have any issues with what you reviewed? Anything that you felt was not accurate?
About 95.
Can you scoot up to the microphone a little bit and,
It's about 95.
About 95%, 95. Can you clarify that? It's 95% accurate?
Yeah.
Generally, it says that, you know, you're either compliant with or in progress with some of with essentially all of your case service plan. Did you agree with that part?
Yeah.
What was the 5% you did not agree with?
Are we talking about just mine or in a general whole?
For your portion?
Oh, well, then it's about 95, yeah.
Okay, so what was the 5% you did not agree with?
First.
Oh, okay. So for yours, your portion, you believe that that's accurate? Okay. And Ms. Hubble just testified that you are currently working in a new position, so,
Yeah.
okay. And are you working more hours, it sounds like then, or just different hours?
There's different hours because normally before I'd get up at like 4 in the morning and then be back out at work at like 2:30. Now I'm going in at noon and I get out at 9. So it's just different hours, but it's better pay. It's less wear and tear. It's just better in general for me.
And how do you feel IHG has gone for you?
Good.
Do you feel like you've benefited from that service?
Oh yeah.
Did you have the opportunity to review your children's, I think one of your children had
Yeah.
a CTAC,
Did you?
I guess two.
And,
Did you have an opportunity to review those?
Yeah.
And are you
there's a lot
familiar
on
with?
there that we've already engaging already, and there's more that still needs to be continued.
Wonderful, thank you for answering that.
Yeah.
At home, is there anything that the department could assist with that might make things easier or better at this point in time?
I think we're engaging in pretty much almost all the services that we can attend at the moment. We finish one and then we can have more time for another one. Yep.
I have no further questions, Mr. Patterson.
all right, hang on. Questions, Ms. Stay,
No, thank you.
Mr. McFarland?
Do you think that Ms. Double covered that 5% that you dispute in that court report?
Yeah.
Is there anything else that she didn't cover that you want to mention or not?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Is there anything, it seems as though we're progressing very nicely, but is there anything else that we can do for you to help you progress better that you can think of?
Let me know if there's anything else you want.
You have a pretty good relationship and good contact with the worker, right? So you're just asking that if there's something else that she reach out to you, is that right? What's the best way for her to reach out to you?
Well, now it's going to be through her because my phone doesn't work right.
So you're saying that
It's been
she should
messed
reach
up
out,
about 2 weeks.
so through Ms. Double, correct?
Yes.
Got you. Okay, I'm glad we have that. And I have no further questions. We'll see if anybody else does.
Ms. Dumont?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Heiss?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. May you return to your seat?
Thank you.
Anyone else you'd like us to hear from, Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, I'll call Ms. Grant to tell you the foundation for the report.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Thank you, Ms. Grant. Today you have prepared a court report with several attachments.
Hi.
Since you've prepared this and circulated it, are there any other documents that have been circulated?
They have been since?
Yes. Okay. Generally, the Ms. Double and Mr. Patterson are compliant with their case service plan, and we've heard from Mr. Duby about his lack of compliance. At this time, what is the risk if the court were to close out its jurisdiction and permit the family to move forward without additional oversight?
The father explains his efforts, signing up for AA, trying to engage, but he's limited by incarceration. He can't fully prove change yet, and that's the problem. The court acknowledges effort, but effort without results doesn't protect the children.
So we just have a few things within the case service plans and the CTACs that we're finishing up with. I know that Faith had stated that she had it reviewed, but we did have an FTM. I think she just is overwhelmed with the amount of things going on. We had an FTM and we did go through each and every individual recommendation on all of the kids' CTACs. And that included the parenting classes that they're currently finishing, following up with through the National Trauma Assessment Center that were recommended for all the children's CTACs. Additionally, there is just a couple things for M that we're kind of working on to finishing up. Overall, they're doing well. The biggest thing that would be the concern right now to end today would just be setting up forward for the future in both psychologicals. I know that they had stated they didn't agree with a lot of it, but it also states that once structured supports were removed, that there's concerns that old habits would kind of fall back into place. And I want to make sure that we get the rest of that structure for them set up so that we're not back here in the future.
As relates to Mr. Duby, while he's incarcerated for the next 60 or so days, what resources can be provided to him?
So we're going to work on getting him the workbooks for parenting education that he's able to do while incarcerated. We will not be able to complete like a psychological referral while he is incarcerated. The person who he was referred to previously doesn't take re-referrals because she's virtual and due to the no-show rate. However, so he would have to be referred to somebody that does in person. Being that he's incarcerated, he is not able to obtain that at this time, although I could reach out to her and ask again if she would be willing since he is incarcerated. Sorry, I lost track of the rest of the question. I apologize.
Just what services you could provide to Mr. Duby while he's incarcerated?
Yeah, so sorry. So there were those two on the list, and then additionally having him complete the AA that is offered. He had reported that there might have also been NA offered to him while he is incarcerated. So starting there and then moving to his substance abuse and mental health treatment when he is released.
Is there anything else that you would like to highlight from your court report or any of the attachments?
I don't think so.
In addition to IHT, are there any other therapeutic services that the family may need or benefit from?
So Jay will continue to see the in-home therapist. He will do individual along with family therapy as IHT has ended and they're working on that transition. Faith and Jeff had to get insurance. Faith's insurance will cover her and the family therapy for JJ within the correct plan. The issue we're going to run into is the barrier for Jeff
due to the fact that all of the children through Medicaid are claimed under FAITH. And my understanding when I followed up is that the program through Medicaid that Jeff qualifies for is a very basic program. It doesn't cover a lot of mental health, medical treatments, those kind of things. It is a very basic, there's really no appropriate way to say this, but it's really more for females who are pregnant with reproductive than it is for general medical. So it's really trying to find a service provider that will take that, as there's no way for him to change his plan because he doesn't have any children that he claims on taxes. So until that time, which isn't until, January to April next year, he's probably going to be stuck in this medical plan until that time.
Is there any referral sources or is this something that the department may be able to cover
In the meantime,
in some other fashion?
so that's something I'm gonna have to talk with our funding to see if we can draw up like an individual contract for him to handle like the last individual things. He would not be able to see Mr. Quinlan, who sees JJ and Faith, due to conflict of interest, but Chris was more than willing to do any referrals for Jeff or somebody within, the Parkside unit that would handle that. So it's something we're gonna have to explore. The insurance issue finally came to light when they were approved within the last 2 weeks. So we've been working on that pretty diligently to see if there was a way to switch his plan or anything else like that. Faith and I had actually just been talking about it Thursday, Friday last week, and I got an answer from like an upper manager late Friday afternoon. I was able to review this morning before coming in, so.
And generally, if everything indicates the children are generally doing fine in their parents' care or with Faith and Jeff at this time.
Correct.
And as relates to Mr. Duby, we know that he's been incarcerated, and then there'll be this substance abuse program that he's going to need to complete. What would be the parenting time recommendation and intro before we come back for?
If he is able to have them, at Lenawee County, I don't think they allow parenting time while he's incarcerated there. Following that, he'll be going to Dawn Farms, and I'm not sure what their, I guess, allowance or parenting time on that is. I would have to follow up with them regarding that. One thing in the CTEX was that he was not having parenting time until he is engaged in doing part of his substance abuse and youth service plan. So as long as he is engaging and making progress, we can look at supervised parenting time, depending on what it is at Dawn Farms. If it's once a week, twice a week, obviously it would be supervised, but a lot of it is going to depend on their policy and procedures also.
With that, I have no further questions of Ms. Graham. I move to admit the court report with.
The second father figure steps in and brings a completely different energy. He's stable, employed, engaged, and mostly compliant. No tension, no resistance, just steady progress. That contrast is powerful. It shows the court what consistency looks like.
The attachments.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Thank you. They're received. Questions for this witness, Ms. Stang?
Yes, just one. Ms. Grant, you've reported that Austin does have releases signed for DHS to speak with providers, but that a new release would need to be signed for Austin's new probation officer. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I tried to send it and I haven't heard back from with the old one that was already sent. I haven't heard back. He had mentioned he needed to sign releases also with his new probation provider, but I can send a new release on our end to the jail and have them sign it or stop in and go down there. That's not a problem. It's just when I had wrote the court report, I hadn't had a chance to do that yet.
Okay, thank you. I actually have one more question. So you also reported that he is still having contact with Miss Double, obviously against his no contact order. However, I believe at the last hearing, you stated that you intended to contact his probation officer to see if that could be modified to allow contact regarding the children. Am I remembering that correctly?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, I guess then, is that something that you think would be appropriate? Since we did hear testimony from Ms. Double that they were contacting regarding the children, is that something that you think would be appropriate for them to be able to do?
If that's something that his probation officer is allowing, the reason no contact is the charge is related to a physical altercation between the two of them. So, while I do think he has a right to know about his kiddos, I do the best I can to inform him, but I know that he has more constant contact with Faith regarding his kiddos. So it would really be his probation officer's call if he or
Okay.
she, I believe it's a he now, believes it's appropriate.
Okay, I have nothing further. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. McFarland?
3 questions. Would you believe that the parents who are here in the courtroom today, personally, that their assessment about how their cases are going would reflect how you view their cases progressing?
Yes.
Are you asking for a 90-day review?
Yes.
Is there a distinct possibility that if they progress as they are now, that there could be a request to close the case in 90 days?
Yes.
Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Dumont?
1 second. Ms. Grant, have you spoken with Ms. Double with regards to the placement of JJ and Aurora?
Regarding the place.
With regards to them possibly being placed with her?
They are pleased with her. I guess I don't understand why.
I believe she means closing the case out and her getting.
Like a permanency planning.
Yes.
Yes, we've discussed that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you advise what you've discussed with her with regards to that?
Sure, so we've talked about possibly, as long as things are going well in the case, that a permanency planning hearing would possibly be moving forward, that, that recommendation would come. In the case he'd be closed with all 4 being placed with her. The concern would be the loophole of Austin and how that would proceed moving forward, given his noncompliance in the case service plan, placing them with her, rather it is a custody through their custody order where he doesn't have time, or if it comes down to possible looking at his rights.
Are you willing to speak on behalf of JJ and Aurora, having a permanency planning hearing sooner than the children shared with Mr. Duby, seeing as there's not necessarily risk of harm?
I guess.
So do you believe that the 90-day review period is still necessary to get to that point, or what are your thoughts on that?
I guess it would depend if the court wants to look at it as 2 and 2 or as one giant.
Okay, but your recommendation with JJ and Aurora would be to.
Yes, I think they're doing very well with.
Okay, and there's no risk of harm at this point with regards to that.
They're working pretty cooperative with me. I don't think there's a risk of harm for me regarding right now removing or anything, if that's what you're asking. They're doing really well. There's a couple of things with JJ we just have to finish up, but he's doing really great. They're doing great.
Okay, and is there anything else you'd like to see from Ms. Double at this point?
We're just gonna keep trucking along, working on her individual, making sure the transition to family therapy and everything goes well, and yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Hines, any questions?
Ms. Grant, I think in this case history, we have a court order for the custody of, trying to think, one custody is, it's not sufficient with Mr. Duby's case to release custody and because he has joint physical custody, correct?
Correct.
How many hours, can you estimate how many hours you put into looking for him, for this family?
I know the family put in a lot of hours. I know that the department made a lot of phone calls trying to track him down. We knocked on a couple of doors. We went to some of the hotels, following up right behind the grandparents, looking for him. I would say it's quite a bit. I don't know if I could give you a full estimate of what that is.
All right. Thank you, I have nothing further.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Any recross?
Oh, thank you.
No, thank you.
All right, thank you for your testimony. May I return to your seat? Anyone else you'd like us to hear from, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Stang,
I have no witnesses or evidence. Thank you.
Mr. McFarland?
Thank you.
Everyone agrees on one thing: the case isn't ready to close. There are still gaps: therapy, long-term stability, and the father's recovery. The request is clear: another 90 days.
Ms. Dumont?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Heiss?
No witnesses, thank you.
Comments in closing, Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. We are asking for a 90-day if the court deems that a permanency planning hearing is appropriate. I didn't double check to see what today's hearing was noticed for. But I think that Ms. Grant testified very accurately regarding the concerns and the risk of harm to the children if we were to close jurisdiction right now. One, obviously, is the custody matter with Mr. Duby, but then two, both the psychological evaluations for Mr. Patterson and Ms. Double indicate, well, for Mr. Patterson, sort of just going through the motions to get things done. And whether there's a sincere engagement and going to be continued benefit from services. The report indicates that we should review the report with caution, given that lack of an engagement, so to speak. And it was related to Ms. Double, again, that there's some significant treatment that needs to be put in place before we're able to comfortably get out to ask the court to release that jurisdiction, because we do want the parents to make better, have better decision making, have better judgment, and to be able to safely have their children in their care and custody. So with that, Your Honor, I am asking the court for another 90-day review for all of the children. I think that Mr. Duby is also in a position where perhaps he can maintain his sobriety longer term and engage in and benefit from some of those substance abuse services that would permit him to safely parent his children. And with that, I think that parenting time for Mr. Duby be suspended pending our next review hearing, given the CTAC recommendations. I think that there needs to be a demonstrated period of sobriety and compliance with treatment in order to know that it's going to be maintained and that there won't be this inconsistent parenting time with the children, which would pose a risk of harm to their emotional well-being. Thank you.
Ms. Stang?
We would just request another 90-day review period as well to allow Mr. Duby to finish out his sentence and then hopefully get into that facility after and continue to work on himself and the issues that obviously brought him into this case. But other than that, nothing. Thank you.
Mr. McFarland?
I'm pleased that the agency believes that there may be a request to close the case at the next review, provided both parents who are here in court continue on the same path, and they have their plates full and they're doing that. So kudos to them.
Thank you. Ms. Dumont, any comments?
Your Honor, Ms. Double wants the court to take into consideration the ability to have a permanency planning hearing with the two minor children that she has with Mr. Patterson. She believes by the time that would be heard, everything that she needs to have done will be completed. She's been compliant throughout this entire process, has completed in-home therapy and has continued counseling with Chris Quinlan. And what she would like to see is to be able to have those kids back without any jurisdiction from the department.
Ms. Heiss?
Your Honor, I think we're trying to build on the progress and to motivate the family to continue to comply. The key difference in this case, we've been open only 6 months, but about 6 months almost. But the cooperation from the parents and the partnership between the family and the caseworker, I think, is something we should build on. It's given us a glimpse inside this family. We aren't hoping for this to be something that closes and changes something in the family. I would hope that the family feels that they are going to continue the services, so whether the case is open or closed, but I understand the impulse to want the true interest, genuine interest in wanting the case closed, but this is something that'll sustain for a long time, and I think everybody's being hopeful and encouraging because the cooperation from the parents has made all the difference. They have a lot going on, they have a lot of strengths, and we finally saw it. We finally saw into what Miss Double does with all her parenting, and Mr. Patterson, he really is active with the kids. So I will be looking forward also to closing the case, but this family, I know there's two different dads, but they really operate as a whole. They go everywhere together. I don't understand how it all happens, but it does. And I think that to keep all the kids' cases open and maybe close all of them in 90 days would benefit everyone. The agency was minimizing the amount of time they put into finding Mr. Duby. It was really stressful for a minute, making sure that his kids had their dad and that nothing bad had happened to him. So I don't know what'll happen with his case in the future, but I think that we should at this time suspend his visits for the benefit of the kids, even though we're so grateful that he's half healthy and where he can't hurt himself at this point. And moving forward, we'll have to address that in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. The Morris and Produce were given notice for purposes of today's review hearing. It was not scheduled as a permanency planning hearing. The children are subject to the court's jurisdiction on an in-home jurisdiction order. That means that they're still with their parents. And so we have a little more time to look at permanency options. Because they have effectively begun their services and jurisdiction with reunification, which is great. I think the reasons that the court is going to continue jurisdiction are really very well said by the comments in the IHT review. They're going to be focusing in the next 2 months on the goals established for treatment with the family and any new needs that may arise. Collaboration with DHS, CMH, the school, and the Boys and Girls Club needs to continue. Additions and alterations that need to take place include making sure that Jeffrey and Faith, the parents, incorporate the rules of fair fighting into their daily lives, helping JJ get along with his siblings, helping JJ give words to his feelings so he can express his needs, and working with Faith, Jeffrey, and JJ to help decrease his defiance. He's got some case management needs. To continue to have his ADHD symptoms managed. So there's a lot of concerns about this particular child here, as well as coordination with other service providers within the community. And a lot of that is what brought us here in the first place. These are not your average kids. They've got some needs here, and we need the parents to be able to demonstrate that they're able to continue to meet those needs. That's further demonstrated by the comprehensive trauma assessment. The one for JJ is really long. There's a lot of reading materials for the parents in this one as well. And unfortunately, I'm getting the impression, even as I sit here, that both of these parents are just trying to get through this and do what needs to be done in order to get the court out of their lives. I don't want to be in your life, and I don't think anybody else does either. But what we want is for you to make sure that your kids get what they need and are in a safe environment where they're not further traumatized. I don't want them on my juvenile delinquency docket, for example. I don't want them looking at me from a Zoom room where Mr. Duby is coming from. So that's why jurisdiction is going to stay open so that you can demonstrate that you've made significant and meaningful changes in your lives and in the lives of your children. I can see you, Ms. Double. I can see you rolling your eyes, and I don't appreciate the fact that you are utilizing quite a huge amount of community resources and being flippant about it. So please.
I've done everything that they've asked me to do, literally.
Okay, that's not going to help you get out from underneath the courts and supervision, because that's not what I see from here. I see some positive changes, and that's encouraging. But I also see you reappearing here again, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So I look forward to the further developments in the next report period, and we'll have our next review on January 6th in the afternoon. As it relates to the request to suspend Mr. Duby's parenting time, I think that's going to happen de facto as because of the amount of incarceration time that he's looking at through the county and their lack of resources to support parenting time. By the time we get back for our next review hearing, hopefully he will be engaged in his services, but I don't think that there's a reason that I would need to suspend that parenting time, because if he does get into those services and he's able to safely visit with his children, I would hope we would know. I will say we'll make his visitation subject to the assessment of the professionals, many of which are already involved clearly in the lives of the children. So we'll look forward to reviewing jurisdiction, safety measures around Mr. Duby and his children, as well as the rest of the services, and we'll have our next review on January 6th at 2:30 p.m. Unless there's any questions, that's all for me.
And here's the final turning point. The judge delivers a direct and firm decision. The case stays open. Despite progress, it's not enough yet. Then comes the moment that says everything. The judge calls out the mother again for her attitude, making it clear that compliance without genuine effort won't cut it. This isn't about checking boxes. It's about real change. The court sets the next review and leaves the family with one message: prove it. Because until they do, the system isn't stepping away.